So I'm just gonna do that myself real fast. Okay, so as soon as you're done making your selections, you should have a bunch of little glowing points on the parts that you need to connect and make it look like it's a little bit more 3D. And as soon as you know that you've got all of the selections you need, go ahead and fill them up with white by hitting Shift, Backspace, or Option Delete, and use white instead of black, and hit OK, and then go to Select, Deselect, or Control D, and you should be done with that part. Okay, so the next part we're going to take care of is a little bit of blue shadow on the bottom Astonish layer. And to take care of that, all we're going to do is make a new layer. We're going to call it Shadow. And we're going to go to our brush tool, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And I'm actually going to size down my brush by hitting the left bracket key to about 600 pixels or so. And I'm going to give it a nice little spot right around the T-O and N, my bad. And we're going to just give it a color overlay right there. And we're going to give it a nice blue color, maybe a little bit lighter. And when you get a blue color that you like, go ahead and control click the Astonish bottom layer's thumbnail right here, and that should make a selection around the word Astonish. And go ahead and click the add a layer mask icon while having the shadow layer selected, and that should mask it so that it's just on the bottom Astonish layer, and that'll give it a nice blue shading to it. And there's only two things left to take care of, which are the lines on the word as well as the paint splatters. So we're going to make two new layers by hitting the create new layer icon down here, and we're going to name them lines and paint, and we'll use the control key to select both layers, and we're going to group them together with Control G. I'm going to name that texture, and we're going to need this to be masked to the word Astonish, but we'll do that in just a little bit. So let's open this back up and go to our lines, and we're going to grab our line tool again, but this time we're going to make sure it's only 1 pixel. And let's click and drag while holding the shift key from one end of the canvas to the other. And we're going to head to the move tool by hitting the letter V, and hit Control T or Command T to bring up the transform tool. And this time we're going to make it a 45-degree turn up here. And we'll check mark it and position it a little bit over here. And we're just going to do what we did before to make the background. We're going to right click the lines layer right here, and we're going to rasterize the layer, and we're going to control click the thumbnail right next to the word lines, and we're going to hit Control Alt T, and we're going to add, let's add about maybe 15 pixels maybe, so that would be 48, and it looks good enough to me. So we'll check mark it, and we'll hit Control Alt Shift T to redo the transform we just did, as well as making a duplicate of our line. And we're going to hit that 1,000,000 times. and 1 million. Alright, so we're going to deselect this by going to select, deselect, or Control or Command D. Let's go ahead and duplicate these lines with Control or Command J. Transform them with Control or Command T. Make the width and height both negative 100%. If it would let me click in there. There we go. Let's check mark it. And with our move tool, let's go ahead and move these over a little bit. And we're going to move it. Alright, so let's turn this layer off. We'll zoom in right here. And turn this back on. And that actually looks like it's a good distance away. So we'll hit Control 0 to zoom back out to the canvas size. And with the lines copy selected, we'll hit Control E. Alright, so now that we've got this all one line, let's go ahead and mask the text texture group itself, which is pretty simple. All we're going to do is go to the Astonish text layer right here, and we're going to control click the thumbnail next to it. But we're also going to go to the Astonish bottom layer and control shift click the thumbnail. And that way we can have a selection around both of these layers right here. And we're going to go to the text texture group, and we're going to add a layer mask to it by hitting the add a layer mask icon right here at the bottom. And that should mask the lines so that they're just on the Astonish text. And if you remember, these weren't white in the demonstration, so we're going to go to the lines layer right here, and we're going to add a color overlay effect, and we're just going to change that to black. And we're going to hit OK, and we're looking pretty good. But I want these to be a little bit see-through, so I'm just going to change this to about 65% opacity. And then let's go to our paint layer and add a little bit of paint, shall we? So I'm sure most of you do not have a paint brush set. So what we've done is, if you go to the brush tool real fast, is we've compiled a bunch of different brush sets into one huge set of paint brushes. And we like to call that the Ultimate Paint Set. And you can pretty much just find this on our website, go ahead and make an account and go to the download section. We'll put this in the project files, and if you download it and put it into your brush presets in your Photoshop CS5 or CS4 program files, then this should load up the next time that you open up Photoshop. So let's go ahead and bring that up. Would you like to replace the current brushes with the brushes from the Ultimate Paint Set? Yes. So as you can see, here's our crap load of paint brushes that we've put together for you. We do not take credit for the creation of all of these brushes. We merely put them all together into one giant paint set. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you're gonna need to click on this paintbrush right here, and we're gonna close this up and we're gonna zoom out, and as you can see, this is a really big paintbrush, and these are all pretty high quality. So all you're gonna have to do is give it a nice little right there on the word Astonish. And we're gonna go back to the move tool and hit Control 0 to zoom up to the canvas size. And this should already be masked to the word Astonish because we added the mask to this entire group right here. And all we're going to do to the word paint is decrease the opacity to 25%, and we're going to give it a Gaussian blur by going to Filter, Blur, Gaussian blur. And all we really need is a 1 pixel blur to it just to give it a little bit of that shiny look to it. And we'll hit OK. And we're actually gonna close up this text texture right here and lower the opacity to about 75%. And that's all there is to it. So hopefully you guys learned something new from this tutorial and were able to get a pretty cool text effect coming out of it. So if you have any questions, don't worry, go ahead and ask them in the comment section below. And even better, if you have a suggestion for a new tutorial, go ahead and again post a comment below or message us here on YouTube. And if you need the project files, don't worry, we'll make sure we put them in the download section under project files on our website, chittychecka.com. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.